You're listening
You're listening
You're listening
to another episode
of the FreshTakes
podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the FreshTakes podcast. And before we even get started and get into it, if you did not see over on our TikTok or on our YouTube short or on our Instagram or on our X or on our Facebook, we are running a giveaway if we hit 200 subscribers by March 4th. Because March 4th is when we will be coming back from our 2-week hiatus after the Super Bowl. And if we hit 200 subscribers by then, we will be giving away a Kyler Murray Funko Pop. But other news, I'm your host, Tim, and these are my two fabulous co-hosts, Tank and Pat. And I think Pat's the only one excited this week.
Well, am I the only one excited?
I'm not excited for the AFC matchup. I'm not excited for the NFC matchup.
They're two pretty good matchups. I don't know why I'm excited.
I'm not excited, but the NFC one's going to be a good one. The AFC, I'm tired of it. Every year, you get Bills and Chiefs in the playoffs, whether it's the divisional or it's the conference. It don't matter. You get Bills and Chiefs.
Yeah, I just hope the Bills can actually pull it off.
See, and that's where we're going to get into a controversy later on, but I can't stand Josh Allen.
I can't stand him either. But I'm sorry, I like him a lot better than the Chiefs.
I don't like how people ride him so much.
Reverse Cowboys is okay.
Is what I'm hearing.
Huh?
I said, so we're rooting for an NFC champion. Is what I'm hearing.
Look, there's only one team that I'm rooting for out of these four, and that's the Commanders, only because they got that kid.
Yeah.
So, all right. We'll jump into it. All of us were 1-3 in picks this week. We were bad.
I'm about to say we were bad. We were atrocious.
I started out 0-3, and I was sweating. And I even picked the Ravens until they came out that Zay Flowers wasn't playing, and I was like, I told you, if Zay Flowers isn't playing, Buffalo's winning. So, luckily, before any game started, I was able to change my pick, and I went 1-3. You guys went 1-3. I think the biggest thing is none of us expected that Detroit game.
Yeah, that was. I'm not gonna lie, it was actually a good game.
It was entertaining, yeah.
But I was shocked.
The Commanders are probably the team built to beat Detroit.
Yeah.
As an Eagles fan, I'm
kind
of happy because that would have been a much worse matchup for the Eagles.
But here's my thing. I think that honestly, we talked about it a couple times already that the Lions with the injuries, I think that's a slight bit of what hurt them.
With how close they were, I'm not putting the injuries. I'm putting Goff on it. Yeah. I think if Goff doesn't play how he did and Goff plays like he did all regular season, they take that game.
I don't think the Lions did anything to lose that game. I think the Commanders are just really, really freaking hot.
Well, okay, I don't know how we're setting up today's episode, but what is y'all's thoughts about that controversial non-call on the hit of Jared Goff?
He was down he was chasing a ball carrier. He's free play, even though he's the quarterback.
I get that, but to me it looked like it was a helmet to helmet.
No, you can clearly see he hits the top of his chest.
And they don't necessarily enforce that the same if it's not a ball carrier. Like they're rarely going to call a helmet a block.
I don't know, because then it leads into I feel like there was a controversial call with the Chiefs game.
Well, the whole entire weekend there was bad calls. You had that
Oh
holding
yeah,
call on Deion Dawkins when all he did was throw the guy to the ground. You had
yeah,
the no call pass interference on Buffalo for what? Keon Coleman throwing that defender to the ground. You had the
and
two
also,
bullcrap penalties on Mahomes for unnecessary roughness, which was not true.
well, you also missed that drop hit or the hip drop tackle.
Yeah. I think
On who was that?
it
It
was
was against the
Schultz.
Chiefs. I know that. Yeah, that's right. Dalton Schultz. But I mean, like you said, and there's the call. I feel was it the I think it was it the Eagles Rams game where at the very end where
Oh, the
I
delay of
felt
game. They never called the delay of game
no
on.
no I'm not talking. I feel like it was the very last play where Stafford rolled out and threw it to this like sideline or whatever. But I felt like the Eagles slightly held
That
Nakua.
that I'm not going to say anything because Stafford threw it right out of bounds. There was no way Puka would have caught it anyways. Like I know they were trying to get a penalty on that, but Stafford needed to put it in play to Puka. That was too far out of
And
bounds.
not to give
I
more
get that,
penalties
but
to the Eagles, but on that the 80-yard touchdown run or 72,
Yeah,
the
it was
longer one at
78 or
the
something like
end,
that.
Cam Jurgens kind of did hold the defensive tackle a little bit too. Like it wasn't a long one, but it could have been called. Like I mean, it
Well, I
just
know that there was right before half, Lane Johnson got under the one guy's jersey, but that was on that strip fumble recovery. So I was like, well, it don't matter if there was a no call. They're still going back 12 yards. But I
yeah.
mean, the biggest thing with the Eagles one was that delay of game. That fourth
well,
and
Yeah.
two slant to AJ Brown, that was
yeah.
definitely a delay of game.
Well, it was like one full second after, but you also have to think that the back judge watches the clock across the field. There has to be no visibility 100 yards up the field and how thick it
Yeah.
was stuff.
And that was the other
But
thing I was thinking is they probably cannot see that Jumbotron.
yeah, like
So
it is off. Sometimes they do miss it by like a full second, and it seems like 3 seconds go by. And you're like, okay, like, but I agree. Like, I think it probably should have been called. It was long enough to have been called. But I also think they have to look up, see double zeros, look back down, give it a second, and then
Yeah.
see, what's your thoughts about I don't want to like you know how NBA has the shot clock, right? It has a buzzer. What's your all's thoughts about for the delay of games? The field goal posts are now rigged to where when it hits double zero, that the refs can continue watching the ball, right? The field goal posts light up red, and then there's a big old buzzer, so
No.
that they can hear it and see it, and so that the referees can continuously looking at the ball, and it'll help with that delay of game.
No, because there's some teams that get the ball off right at the zero, and that's allowed. So something like that's going to distract the quarterback, going to make them blow the whistle on a faulty delay a game. There's also the fact of in basketball, they're closed in, so it's easier for the sound to echo out. Most of those stadiums are open, and there's 10,000, 20,000 more than NBA, and the fans are just going to be louder than the buzzer would.
I get that. I was just, I'm not saying I want it to happen. I was just saying, what's your all's thoughts?
So
I don't want
yeah,
the fans. I don't want you all to think that.
I don't think that would be a good idea for them. I don't, like you said, you just threw it out there. I'm not knocking it, but yeah, I think that would probably just cause more problems than a delay of game slipping by.
Right.
But
Uh,
all right, Chiefs, Texans. Chiefs come out on top. I think if Texans have a healthy receiving core, they win that game.
yeah, I agree with that statement right there. Honestly,
And one of the things that I'm going to put out there, it's for three of the four games because not with the Philly game. Joe Mixon, incredible, unstoppable running was perfect all game. Stop using him in the fourth quarter. Derrick
yep.
Henry, beautiful running, unstoppable. Stop using him in the second half of the fourth quarter. Montgomery and Gibbs both destroying in the backfield. I think Gibbs was like 110 yards on 6 carries. Stop using him in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
These teams that are so close want to just throw the ball nonstop. You could have just kept running. The only reason I'm not putting the Rams in there is because Kyron Williams was fumbling.
And the Eagles refused to throw the ball, so
Yeah.
we're kind of the outliers there.
Yeah, so I don't I don't know. I feel like not running is like a big issue that some of these teams are going through.
Yeah,
Uh,
I definitely does. Like, yeah, you got to score points and whatnot, but I feel like anytime anyone's down like 10 anymore in the modern NFL, it's pure panic, and it's like you can still put together two drives and score running. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I mean, especially in like the fourth quarter, they're expecting you to throw. Why wouldn't you run? Bengals, whenever they went to play Kansas City and they won, that they just kept pounding the run game. So, I don't know why Joe Mixon didn't take into the Texans game, hey, pound the run game. They can't stop the run. I was the running back on the Bengals when we went and beat them. So, trust me, give me the ball and pound the run.
And
yeah.
I
And that was also they had that stretch where Spagnuolo blitzed like 8 straight times.
yeah.
Yeah, if you're running the ball, you're not going to be destroyed by a blitz 8 straight times. Like,
Well, also, if you're watching the blitz, why don't you just do a quick corner slant or something?
yeah, like you got to do something. You know they're bringing the house. Like,
Say, if you know that there's blitzing, send Mixon in motion and have him just be that quick slant guy, because then all the receivers and the tight end can just jump in front of him and block. So I don't know.
Right.
I think a lot of the weekend was terrible play calling.
Agreed.
yeah,
100% agreed on that statement.
So terrible play calling. Detroit, Washington. Um, Why are you asking Jamison Williams to throw the ball on a third down and 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter when
I get Dan Campbell being a gutsy coach. I get that he likes throwing trick plays out there. I get that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the biggest issue, you're losing fourth quarter, game on the line, season on the line. Why would you do it? Now, if it was pre or not pre, if it was regular season, I'm okay, whatever. But now that everything's on the line and you're losing, it's not time to be doing this kind of plays. It's
I think I think that's precisely why they went to it. I mean, I'm sure they have a number of plays in Ben Johnson's head that he can draw up to like try to get a quick score, but the fact that they were down and probably not used to really being down, and they were probably like, all right, like doesn't matter what play it is, we need a play that we know is gonna pop the top off, and then it just didn't execute. And of
yeah.
course, you look like an idiot when stuff works the wrong way, but like,
well, I mean, I don't know why they use Jamison Williams to throw it. Amon Ra is like 3 for 3 when throwing on the team.
well, I mean, I guess that's true. It's probably practice though. It's probably like they've seen a lot. They probably do it a lot, but also like, I mean, they've tried to use everyone on their offense, including their linemen, to throw a pass this year.
But okay, so like you said, Amara is what you said 3 for 3. So if they would do that trick play, they knew that it's out there, it's in the books, it's on tape, it's on film. So they can't really use the same player because it will the other team would know it, like right off the bat kind of thing. So I think that's another reason why you kind of throw other players
Well,
into
that
the
wasn't the
situation
same
where
play that they've done with Amon Ra. If you look back at the Seattle game, there was, they were in shotgun and Amon Ra came in motion and Goff tossed him the ball and then Goff went out for that touchdown. There's
no,
different
I get that. I'm just saying
routes
like
that somebody can do.
the
no,
And
I get
I guess from when Jameson in the game earlier, when they handed him the ball and he just ran for that 60-yard touchdown, they might have expected him to run. And honestly, I thought that it was going to be a run, and then last second he decided to pass, knowing he wasn't going to get anywhere. But I don't know. I think he kind of just like threw the ball and forced it, and he honestly should have just tried to run for like a yard or two.
I agree.
Especially because when he threw it to Amon Ra, there's clearly a defender right in front of Amon Ra. There's no way he was getting that ball to him.
Yeah.
So shout out to like trick plays and whatnot. It wasn't like one of the coolest gadgets they've drawn up, but it was early in the first quarter, I think, where he pitched it to Montgomery, and then Montgomery did like that shovel pass to St. Brown.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the coolest looking plays I've ever seen, and I'm surprised it's taken this long to see it. It
Yeah,
seems
that
like
one was nice where it looked like he was gonna take off for the run and then St. Brown just comes across.
yeah, that was a good design. I loved that play.
I'm hoping
So
that
did
some of
Tom Brady.
these trick plays that they have for the Lions they put in Madden next year.
They might.
Well,
Too
I
bad
still don't
Aiden
understand
Johnson.
how the tush push isn't in Madden yet.
I don't play, so you would think that would be in there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
so
a big play.
all right, we're gonna take it over to Tank for this week's episode of That Catch Though with Tank, and I know that there's a lot of pretty good catches that happened this week. So take it away, Tank.
Welcome to this week's episode of That Catch Though. Welcome to the divisional round of That Catch Though of this year's playoffs. Like Tim said, there was a lot, and there was too many to really say what is what. So, unfortunately, yes, y'all saw my dog in this video. But my honorable mention goes to Nakua, where there was, I think, fourth quarter, minute and a half left or something like that. He called a touchdown, or not a touchdown. He just caught the ball. It was beautiful in my opinion. But I got 4 nominations. Yes, that's right, 4 nominations. I got one being from Xavier Worthy of the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's the video.
This one for Worthy. Oh, what a catch!
Video number 2 comes from Demarcus Robinson of the Los Angeles Rams.
Stafford stepping up, taking a shot downfield for Robinson. Undercut, who's got it? Oh,
And video number 3 comes from none other than Sam Laporta, the Detroit Lions.
in trouble. Throw. Oh! He
And the final nomination comes from De'Ami Brown of the Washington Commanders.
time. Lets it rip, floating it deep down the field, going for Brown. He's got it!
Well, you saw 4 videos, and the winner of it goes to Demarcus Robinson. I'm sorry, guys, but when he was able to go up, catch the ball, and pull it away from the defender, that takes it. Congratulations.
All right. So, speaking of that, the Rams and the Eagles game. Rams could have went down and won it. Pat, how you feeling?
Oh, I feel fine.
Even with
You
the
would think I
Jalen
would.
Hurts?
Oh yeah. No, he'll be good. He'll be good enough to run the game plan they're planning to play. Uh,
I just feel
I,
like he looked awful the last 2 games.
oh, Russ, and
I
not
can agree
I
to
won't
that.
say awful. I would say there was no priority at all in that Rams game to throw whatsoever. So 66% completion, about normal for him, even though he only attempted like 15 passes. I, I mean, I know you would think you would want some concern there, but I know for a fact if they game planned it, they'd throw 32 times next week. He'd complete 26 of them, and aside from that weird, I mean, it was snowy. The ball was ungrippable for
Yeah.
both teams. He's been very good at not turning the ball over, and as long as he does that, then I feel good. Like he'll make an occasional third down slant throw. He'll pin a ball deep on a long shot occasionally, and that's all we need him to do really this year. We have a good enough running game to carry us.
I don't know. I think Washington could have the upper hand only because I think in the two games that they've played this year, they did a good job at stopping Saquon. So they're gonna force Jalen to throw. And I mean, in that game, Jalen's knee just kept looking real bad like the entire time. And then Saquon had that hand problem. Uh, I don't know what's up with
What
Smith,
exactly?
but he's dropping like everything thrown to him at this point.
What exactly is Saquon's injury with the hand?
I think he got a pin between him and a defender's helmet.
What I
It'll
was
probably
thinking.
come
I
back.
just
There's some type of broken bone, I'm sure, but like,
I'm sure after if they get knocked out, they're gonna be like Saquon had 120 yards with a broken hand.
I I'm okay. I know the more positive news going back to Tank's catch of the day here. It was against Eli Rogers, who was in because of the Kenyon Mitchell injury in the first, and without him, I am not as comfortable because we need like two lockdown corners to help our defense a little bit. The pass rush wasn't really there yesterday until late when they actually started blitzing, which kind of saved the game for them. If they hadn't gone to that, the Rams would have probably scored like three more times. Like,
I, j- I don't know what up with Cup. If Cup would have been more used in that game, I think they could have done good. But I mean, everybody's so
who,
big on DeJean, but I feel like DeJean has terrible hands.
well,
he
that's
was the
why
one
he's
that
a
muffed the
defensive back.
punt,
Like,
wasn't he?
Yeah, he muffed the punt. He dropped two interceptions thrown literally right at
Yeah.
him.
yeah,
So
I
I
mean
So
don't
it's a
know.
so
shame,
quick
and
question.
it comes down to those plays. Good.
Since the Rams and the Lions are now out of the playoffs, who do you feel has truly won the trade between uh, Goff and Stafford?
I mean, is that really a question?
I'm just wondering.
S- Stafford and the Rams have a Super Bowl. Goff doesn't. I mean, that's the
Yeah, I
easiest thing
mean,
you can point at. Yeah, the Lions have all these extra players that they got out of it, but there's no hardware to show off.
and if you think of everything, how many years the Rams lost picks, and last year was like the first year they got it, or this year was the first year they really, and they nailed it on their draft. They got absolute studs everywhere.
Yeah,
So
especially a guy who
I think,
basically is a mini Aaron Donald.
yeah, I think they're
Yeah,
okay. Freaking, I hate Jared Verse. He's so
Yeah,
good.
he hates the green. He hates the
Hey, he was
team.
buying into the villain role. I appreciate him, but man,
say I don't know, man. The Rams definitely took that away. And like you said, Pat, they got first round picks again. They got second round picks again, and
you know,
they
like,
made it this far in the playoffs off just 1 year of drafting. Who's to say they can't do it again with a second year? But there's the talk that potentially was Stafford's last year. So,
yeah,
if you're the Rams, do you try and get rid of all your picks again to move up for somebody like Jalen Milrow or
I
Quinn
think
Ewers?
I think they'd be wise. You're not sure. Yeah, you're not sure with Stafford. I mean, he might retire, and if he does, I think you trade Cup and
That's what I was
just
gonna
restart.
say.
Yeah, like
So, but I thought Quinn Ewers is going back to college. Is
No,
he
Ewers said
cleared?
that he's going in. It's Carson Beck who's going back.
Ah, okay. My bad.
Um, yeah, I mean somebody like the Raiders who could probably use somebody like Cooper Cup, try and trade up with them, get Jalen Milrow. Um, Browns. Like I know that Watson's injured and all, but if you're the Browns, just I'd rather take Cup than gamble on Shadur, especially with
Would would Dion
Dion
allow
not.
that
I would
one?
say with Dion not wanting them. I think Dion would like it if he was on the Rams. I don't. I think Dion said he doesn't want Shadur playing for the Browns.
Yeah, he said Browns, and there was two teams for sure that he was
Jets.
like the Jets. All right. He was like those. those teams are for sure out of the picture. Like I will
Yeah,
not allow him.
he was like, I will not let him step foot on the Browns or the Jets. Which it's weird that he doesn't want him to step foot on the Jets field, but he's okay with the Giants and they share a field. But all right, last game. The Bills hold on by 2 against the Ravens. And man, Lamar, Andrews.
Yeah,
Look, I want to say this though. Y'all called me crazy during like the middle of the season, but I'm telling you, Bateman is a solid man, and I think better than Zay Flowers.
Well, that's why I called you crazy. He's nowhere near better than Zay Flowers,
Don't
but he is.
know.
I
I
think they're
don't
about.
know.
Honestly, I think they're the same. Like what Flowers lacks, Bateman picks up. What Bateman lacks, Flowers picks up.
I think Flowers is your man if you want to get down the field. Bateman's your like final knockout. Bateman's your red zone guy. Flowers is your field guy.
And that's why I think they complement each other. I don't really. Now I've said it on TikTok when I did a hot take, and I want the fans to know the reason I said that TikTok was because of Tim. Tim brought that one up for me.
I would have done it.
Dude, why do you keep knocking
Say I
into
would have
me?
I would have went on and I would have done the hot take, but you did it. So
But no, I really feel like they complement each other so well. I feel like they're the same. They like I said, what one lacks, the other one picks up. What one lacks, So that's just my opinion. Other than that, I don't really have anything else in that game.
I
I'm
mean,
just
well,
I'm
I mean, there's all the talk. I want to hear your guys. Who's at fault? Andrews or Lamar?
I feel it's Andrews. The ball was in his hand. Yes, it was cold. It was snowing. Yes, I get that, but and it was there. Andrews had it.
Look, I said it in our group chat, and I'm sticking to it. I don't think it's Lamar's fault. I don't think it's Andrews' fault. I think it's the coaching fault. You should not have called a play like that. You should have called Derrick Henry. They could not stop Derrick Henry in that fourth quarter. You should
And
have 2 yards. Let Derrick Henry.
also, like, if not Derrick Henry, Lamar's whole quest this year and recently has been to prove like he can get it done. Like, that's the perfect call for him. Your team needs you to score. You know for a fact if it was Josh Allen on a must-need two-point conversion, he's running that thing.
Oh,
Oh
He is
yeah,
not,
100%.
he
Well, I
is
mean,
not
what?
letting anyone stop him.
Third, third and 3, and Josh Allen took it. He wasn't
Yeah.
trusting anybody else.
Anything like less than four, it was like, all right, Josh Allen's legs, Josh Allen's legs. Perfect chance for Lamar to get the same opportunity and like kind of seal some of his legacy. He's such an iconic player and just needs like a moment like that to like cement it. And
100%
I
agree with
think the
David.
perfect play that they should have tried to cook up was we saw it earlier with Derrick Henry and the Wildcat, and he got 2, 3 yards out of it. Why not throw Derrick Henry in the piston where he's the quarterback and Mark Andrews is the running back? And Mark Andrews is a pretty beefy guy, so he could have helped push Derrick Henry into that end zone. I
yeah,
Yeah.
think the play calling is what cost them. I don't blame Mark. I don't blame Lamar.
yeah.
I'm blaming the play calling.
So
And I
okay, but
don't
I 100% see where you're coming from with that, Tim. I do. But with the play call the way it was called, it then bounces to Mark Andrews for not catching the ball. That's
Then
where I'm
yeah,
coming.
yeah, I will then say on the actual play, yes, Mark Andrews should have caught that.
So
yeah.
I
And
like I
then
said,
like
I see where you're coming from with that with the play calling. I 100% agree with it. They should have done something with Henry, or how you just said it. Have Henry as the quarterback and Andrews as the running back. I that would have been a beautiful play. But with the play that was called, it then lands on Andrews because the ball hit his hands. He should have been able to catch it.
or in that regard, say that play happens in the first quarter for some reason they go for two. and same thing. It's just not the final play. I don't think anyone pins it against Andrews as much for
Yeah.
one miss. Like obviously you want an NFL pro to catch a pass that's, but also whether it's catchable or not, it wasn't the perfect thrown ball. He did have to reach
Yeah.
back and low for it. Like, could Lamar have put a better throw? Yeah. Could
Could
Andrews have
Lamar
caught it?
have
Yeah.
juked
Like,
out that defender instead of trying to force it past the defender? You
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
I you could put it on both. So
It's a
I'm
one.
honestly putting it on the play calling.
I get
I
that.
I'm
And
just
then
confused by that first quarter punt interception. I just
well, and I said it in our group chat yesterday. I'm confused on the third quarter, 10 minutes left in it. Why are you going for two now to make it 21-21? Just make it
Yeah,
21-20. You don't risk that 2-point conversion. Then all they had to do was kick an extra point and it was tied.
yeah.
yeah.
So the play calling is what cost Baltimore that game. Yes, Lamar looked bad with that fumble and that interception and everything, and he was flustered in the first half, but the play calling cost him the game.
Yeah. What's John Harbaugh's record on 2-point conversions? It has to be like 0 for
Um,
75.
I'm pretty sure he legit is 2 for 9.
It's so bad. It's cost him like so many years and so many
Yeah, I
seasons.
agree. Yeah,
And
it
if
is
you ever watch when Harbaugh calls the 2 points, you can see Lamar just put his head down. He's like, it's not happening, coach.
right. So, but all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's head over to Tim with his wonderful segment of Have a Day. Take it away there, Tim.
All right, so I have an honorable mention, and this is actually an honorable mention to basically every single team, especially with the Chiefs, the Commanders, can't say that word, the Rams, especially the Rams, not the Vikings. I corrected myself this week. The Rams
Good
and
job.
the Eagles. I'm giving an honorable mention to all of those defenses. Say, Chiefs defense I think had 8 sacks. Rams defense had 7 sacks. Eagles had 6. Uh, Commanders I think had 4, and then they had 3 interceptions, one for a touchdown. Eagles had that scoop and almost score. So honor mention all the defenses this week. But while we're at it, let me take one person from one of those defenses. George Kalafdis, 5 tackles, 3 sacks, basically sealing the game winner on one of his sacks. Next up is one of his teammates. First time ever being nominated this year, which is kind of shocking. Travis Kelce, 7 catches, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. And last but not least, I say it all the time, the guy who breaks my heart, who could have still been with us if we didn't re-sign Daniel Jones. 26 carries, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mr. Saquon Barkley, have a day.
So I'm shocked.
I
I'm shocked
mean,
you
yeah.
you didn't nominate a certain individual who wears black and white.
Uh, the
Pat got it.
Like I'm not gonna throw the
that's
refs in there and create all this controversy stuff. Everybody already knows the refs were very bad in the Chiefs game.
They were
yeah.
atrocious.
But all right, boys, time to discuss it. Winner of the AFC, winner of the NFC. Who you choosing? I got Commanders and Chiefs.
I got Chiefs and Eagles.
I'm going for the Bills and well, I want to say the Redskins, but of course you can't say that. The Commanders. That's who I'm going for.
All right. I don't think Buffalo and Allen can do it against Kansas City.
They
I
can't, but
I
dude, I'm pulling for them.
I know 90% of America is behind Buffalo this week, but in that Ravens game, they gave up in the second half. They really fell apart. And I hate to say this, but the Chiefs are good in the second half. So and this is how we talked about it in the Ravens and Buffaloes last week, unless Buffalo can get out ahead in the first half, I think the Chiefs can pull it off. And the Chiefs are going to go on and they're going to go to the Super Bowl for the third year in a row. But I think that kid and Dan Quinn can cook something up and be 28-3 and lose the game to the Chiefs.
Yeah. I'm going for a rematch. I don't want to see the other rematch.
On rematches. Yeah, I think so. My pick is mainly inspired by my curse. Anyone I pick against the Bills will win, and that's what I'm hoping. Uh, so I also think the Bills have definitely worked on their big issue, which was their run game. That was what they needed to get over the top of someone like the Chiefs. This year, I think their defense is a little, maybe not better, but can play better. And I don't think the Chiefs are as scary like
Oh, they're
they
definitely
are,
not.
but like they're so beatable. There's so many one possession games that it's just a matter of who can do it. And kind of like you, I'm not the hugest Josh Allen fan, mainly because I think he's one of the top three probably, but he's not the top one, and he shouldn't be put near that talk. And he
So,
is too much, and I kind of dislike that. But
quick,
um, yeah. So Chiefs, Eagles. I think the Eagles defense, aside from the pass rush they had in the last Super Bowl matchup, which wasn't existent in the Super Bowl, they have a better overall defense. They can actually stop run and pass, and I think they're a little better suited this time around.
I think no matter who is in the AFC, whoever wins NFC, they're winning the Super Bowl. I
so
think
I
that the
told
Commanders and the Eagles just have that great of a team that they could beat either one.
I told Pat earlier that I will not root for Philly. I can't. Now, I will tell
But
you
last
this,
week
Pat.
said that you'll root for anybody in the NFC East.
Yes, but hold on, hear me out. No, I will. But if it's the Eagles or Bills, I'm rooting for the Bills. If it was Washington or the Bills, I'm rooting for Washington. If if it's Eagles and Chiefs, I'm rooting for the Eagles.
Rooting for the refs.
Yeah. So no, quick question real quick. Before we went to the 7 team uh NFL playoff system, when was the last time that the number 6 seed went to the Super Bowl? Was that Giants?
No.
I think the Packers
No, I think
20.
Seattle did it once.
But I thought Seattle hasn't been to the Super Bowl since because I knew
Yeah, the
wasn't the Giants
Seattle
a
and
six
the
seed?
I'm pretty sure Seattle and Denver. Seattle was the sixth seed.
I can't remember who won the division that year, but they might have been. I
The
don't.
Cardinals won the division that year. Because that was the Cardinals Packers. No, it wasn't because the Seahawks fought the Packers in the championship. I
Yeah,
I
there was
want to
that.
say that Seattle was the sixth seed though.
Well, let's research it, fellas.
Yeah, while Tank looks that up, I will tell you my reasoning for why I want who the win and what and that.
Yeah,
So the Chiefs, if the Chiefs win, I am happy because Kareem Hunt, that whole story with Kareem Hunt, I'd like to see him finally get the Super Bowl ring. You know, the year that they were supposed to go on to be this big team, he had the hallway kick, got him off the team, and they lose to the Patriots in the championship because of that offside call. Then, he spends most of his time in Cleveland getting nowhere while the Chiefs are running on to all these Super Bowls. Comes back, takes over for Pacheco. I think looks better than Pacheco. And, even though he's a little heavier in his 30s now, Kareem Hunt still looks very good as a running back. I'd like to see Hunt do it. Um, hate to say this, but the Eagles, Saquon. I'd love to see Saquon get the ring that he deserves. I would have liked to have seen him do it with the Giants, but I think Saquon deserves the ring. Speaking of that, did you know that I think it was like 10 Giants players were in Saquon's suite during the conference game because they're still all that close with Saquon, and Daniel Jones was also one of the players up in there.
that's funny.
And then Buffalo, I could care less if Buffalo wins because there's nobody I really care about on Buffalo. But then, of course, the Commanders, Jaden Daniels. I'd love to see Jaden Daniels go on, be the first rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl and the first rookie quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
All right, so got the answer. It was the 2010 season, February 6th,
Packers.
2011 Super
Packers.
Bowl was Pittsburgh Steelers 2, Green Bay Packers 6.
Dang, Pat, you called it.
But wasn't the Giants a 6 seed when they beat?
They were 2000, yes, 2007.
Oh,
They
it's been that long.
I would say it was 2007. They
the
were the six.
2012
They were
five.
7-9 and went on to beat the undefeated Patriots.
Ah, man, I didn't know it's been that long.
Yeah,
Or,
they
Was
or did they
17
win
years
the
ago.
division in 12?
no, they won the Super Bowl in
Huh?
12. They won the
No, I
no,
mean,
they were wild
were
card,
they a
but they were
wild
I think they were fifth
fifth?
seed.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought.
because I think Dallas won that year and they lost to Seattle because of that missed hold by Tony.
Oh, that was that. Yeah, that was that year.
I think so. But yeah, the Giants were a fifth seed and sixth seed. Both times they went on to beat the Patriots. And yeah, I think they were 7-9 when they beat the undefeated Patriots, and everybody thought that it was impossible for the Giants to even be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
You talking about? Wait a minute.
because they beat the Packers in that cold
Yeah,
game,
and that
right?
really cold game in overtime. Corey Webster.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Yeah, they
Giants
were
might
a
have been
5
eight and
seed.
they might have been 8-8. They were either 7-9 or eight
Yeah,
and eight. It was just that they had a terrible record and still went to the Super Bowl.
they were a 5 seed when they defeated the undefeated.
Oh, so they were five, not six.
Yeah, they were 10-6.
Oh, I thought that they had like a terrible record. I know that who was it Seattle that was 7-9 when they went to the Super Bowl?
They didn't go to the Super Bowl. They beat the Saints, who were like the number 2 seed or something.
Oh,
The Beastquake.
I would say I think that the thing was that they were like the last team to have a losing record and make the playoffs. But
Yeah.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That is it for us this week. Next week we will be back to discuss the Super Bowl. Well, we're not going to really discuss the Super Bowl. We'll discuss the games and then we'll ease into the Super Bowl a little bit. And then the week after that, we'll have the final season Jeopardy. And then that's when we'll go into the Super Bowl picks at the end of that video. So if you guys did enjoy, go ahead and leave a like, comment down below your favorite part. And if you think somebody was snubbed this week, I mean, I had Amon-Ra in there and I took him out. 8 catches, 137 yards. Amon-Ra might have gotten snuffed.
We have 2 more weeks, Tim, to get on Link.
Yeah, it's not happening. We're gonna have to wait till
It's
next
not.
year.
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to push off another year. What? This is 2 years now that we've been doing this, and we haven't linked up yet. So, but yeah, on to you, Pat.
What are we linking up?
The
What
have
are
a
we
day
linking
and
up?
the have a day and the that catch though meeting up.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Hey, I mean, the less teams there are available, the better your chances are. So,
Look, next
the big week.
I'm calling it. Next week, Terry McLaurin's
Terry
winning both.
McLaurin.
He's winning
Have
You never
both.
know.
I don't doubt that if Quignon's not fully healthy, yep, could be. I'm excited for 2 good games. I'll call them both like top-notch rivalries at this point in the NFL.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
Bills and Chiefs are every year thing, and Commanders Eagles always play well no matter how bad the other team is. This year they happen to be very, very good, so not looking forward to it, but it should be a good game. Good.
Yeah, I just want to get this out of the way. I'm super, super upset because Washington is now in the NFC Championship, and now the only lone team that has not been in the NFC Championship since the 2000s is my lonely Dallas Cowboys.
And just
That's
think
sad.
if Washington wins, then that's going to be every single team in the NFC East has made the Super Bowl since the 2000s, except for Dallas. Even more to think of.
Why you gotta, why you like, just let me smear it into your face, Tank. Just, other than that, you can follow us on the good old X, aka FKAARTA Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts. Don't forget, if you want to win a Kyler Murray Funko Pop from yours truly, make sure you share all this information out to help us get to those 200 subscribers, which I have a feeling we could actually hit it.
Whoa!
Why do I see what the crap? Other than that, this is Tank signing off, and I will see y'all next week. Peace, y'all.
Goodbye, everybody.